everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of It's Our House podcast with me, Carl Fazafadel, and Mr. Christopher Dees. How are you, buddy?
Not too bad. I'm feeling a little bit sluggish because I've had my second vaccine shot yesterday, so I'm a little bit, but other than that, no, I'm really good, mate. Really looking forward to this.
Excellent. Yes. We cannot wait. Well, today we have a phenomenal talent who's been working the independent circuit for, I believe, around 24 years. She has more accolades than I can even begin to list. It's the fantastic LuFisto. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. Yeah, it's actually, I'm in year 25 now.
Wow.
So 2021 is year 25 because I started in 1997. So if I count by, the beginning of the year, yeah, I just hit the big 25.
That's amazing. That's brilliant. It is. It's crazy, isn't it? It blinks and it's over like that.
Are you doing anything to commemorate 25 years? Anything special?
Besides, well, with COVID, there's nothing much you can do, but I've been trying on social media to post like vintage picture and with the hashtag 25 years of violence. So I try to bring back some memories, and I have like 3 new t-shirts that I released, including one that says 25 years on it. And but besides that, not much so far. I think I'm gonna have more fun once everything's opening up, because in Canada there hasn't been a show, like a wrestling show, for over a year now.
Wow.
I've never been that long without wrestling. It must
be hard.
Weird. It's good for the body, but at first I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. It's a break, but now it was like, wow, this is long. What am I doing on weekends? And just this morning, I was talking to my boyfriend. I was like, what do we do? We're both wrestlers. So like, what are we doing today? Yesterday, we mowed the lawn and I planted some flowers. And I'm like, ugh. We're so used to be on the go and like, we don't even have enough time for ourselves. But now it's like, oh God, this is getting long.
I bet it is. I mean, obviously, 25 years, you decided to celebrate with It's Our House pod. That's what it is, isn't it?
Perfect. There we go.
Yeah, I don't do many podcasts. I did for a while. Now it was like, oh my God. Last week I asked people, what are you listening to? And like my phone was blowing up all that. I was like, I cannot ask about podcasts anymore.
Yeah. I saw that.
And there's so many things going on in my life too. So I was like, so I'm celebrating with you, and I'm really happy about it. And there's a special place in my heart for Europe and the UK and everything, like Iron Maiden. I mean, that's what
Yeah. I was going to say, obviously, one of the questions we were going to ask is, how's it been not wrestling? But, you've kind of covered it there. So how did you fall in love with Iron Maiden? Where did that start?
Oh, my God. Like my first memory of Iron Maiden is, my God, how old was I? Like 3 or 4.
Wow.
And my uncle was like, hey, there's that record, when you play backwards, you hear the devil. Not true, but he was just trying to scare me, and I'm like, oh, what do you mean? And it was the Number of the Beast.
Yes.
And I listened to that, and I was like, I was like, it's like sparked something inside of me where, I don't know, I've been a metal fan all my life. Like I always say, there was there's a point where I like New Kids on the Block, like a second, when I was about 8, but then real quick I was like, oh no, let's go back to metal.
Correct. We've all got guilty pleasures though. That's fine. It's
my oldest memory about Iron Maiden and metal. It's that record. And by 10, my mom bought me my first guitar, and I was playing Metallica. And,
wow.
I tried to play Megadeth, but it was really hard. But I was doing like a little bit of Metallica, a little bit of oh my God, like grunge was big back then. And although I'm not necessarily a grunge person, I do enjoy bands like Stone Temple Pilots. I really love Scott Weiland, and anything from Chris Cornell and Soundgarden. Like these are still things that I still listen to, even if like I do consider myself pretty much of a metalhead, and I'm more into what's closer to thrash, like Anthrax and Slayer and Testament. And I love Beast in Black too, which is more of a melodic kind of metal, like Hammerfall, or if you go back to Maiden, stuff like that. So yeah, I love all kinds of metal. especially if it's melodic, and those I need a great singer. Singer is really important for me. I need voices like Dio and like
you need something just to capture you, don't you? Just right in that imagination just brings you to the forefront.
Exactly. I'm really big on vocals. I've been singing in a band too. I sang in a choir when I was younger too. So lyrics and the voice to me is really important when I listen to any kind of music.
Awesome.
Yes, Run to the Hills. Run to the Hills, my favorite Maiden song. Or The Trooper. We could just talk about music. Let's not talk about wrestling. Let's just do a whole music episode. I don't think our fans would appreciate that. Like, what's going on here? Right, let's bring it to wrestling then. So obviously, as you say, you've been wrestling for basically 25 years now. You've been one of the driving forces of women's wrestling. Obviously, over the last 5, 6, 7 years, we've heard so much about WWE creating the women's evolution, the women's revolution and that. But really, as far as we're concerned, the smaller promotions and the independents had been doing that kind of stuff way before WWE were, but they just weren't getting any sort of attention on it. I think it's safe to say maybe in the last year, especially during COVID, maybe the year before, specifically with WWE, they've kind of drifted away a little bit from that. The women's side of things hasn't been as strong as it was. But promotions like Ring of Honor, Impact, AEW to a certain degree are all absolutely crushing it with their women at the minute. But in your opinion, what more do you think still needs to be done to make sure that women are in those prominent positions? Because they've been presented to be equal, if not better, than the men quite a lot, as they rightly should be. But how do you think we keep that momentum going?
There needs to be yes, there's like the evolution. You're absolutely right. It's been there for a long time, but it's been very slow. And it all starts from people who decided to break the mold and go against the grain in a way where if you take like my story, it's basically me being told, no, you can't wrestle because there's no other girls. Well, I'm going to wrestle the guys, and then push and go on and fight against everybody that didn't want me to be a wrestler. People wanted me to be a manager. So I was like, no, I want to be a wrestler. And to become a professional wrestler and be better every time, you need to wrestle people who are better than you. And in my case, it was the guys because there was no other women. And then you got Shimmer is a pivotal change of women who are treated as athletes, like Shimmer women athletes. And I honestly believe that Dave Prazak doesn't get enough of the credit, because from day one, when he created Shimmer, it was all about having the women in the ring and have them as athletes and give them a lot of time. Not like 2-minute match. Yes, there's a lot of women's wrestling going on TV, and WWE went really strong for a point when they kind of noticed that there was money to be made with the women, and they have such great, strong women. They have the Bianca Belairs, the Charlotte Flairs, the Sasha Banks. But you're absolutely right. Like in the past year or so, everything's been. It's kind of. I hear that they believe that women cannot bring as much money, but if you book them as women, of course they will not. The bigger problem that needs to change is you need to book the women as the men. Storyline has to be compelling where everybody can relate. There's too many, you're the ugly girl versus the nerdy girl, the cool girl versus the unpopular girl. It's so girly. A guy who watches that cannot relate necessarily to that, where yes, there's the nerd versus the cool football player. We've all seen movies that are or you just watch The Big Bang Theory and you get that that kind of storyline on TV. But I really believe that women, if you book them the same way, where they are competitors and the main idea is to be the best at what you do, and not like, oh, you slept with my man, and it's like, no. Go back to competition, go back to the basics. What is wrestling? It is a sports competition. Yes, you can have flamboyant characters, you can have cool promos. I always think about a guy like Dalton Castle. He's flamboyant, he has that promo, he has that presence. But once the bell rings, he's business, and he's a shooter, and he has a background in wrestling. That's one thing I really like about Ring of Honor right now. And with their new women's division coming, that's really what I hope for them to base the product on, the same way as the guys and the pure wrestling and everything they're doing on the male side, where they do have those characters, but once the bell ring, it's wrestling, it's business, it's a competition. It's really if you focus on that, and the storylines are more about, I want to be the champion, I want to be that person, I want to be on top, I want to be the best. If you and that way everybody can relate, whether you're a male, a female, binary, non-binary, whatever you are. And having a different, not like cookie cutter, same thing, different cultures, different colors, different ages, different. If you bring everything in that one good package, then you're going to get people interested in the product as is, and not necessarily women's wrestling.
Yes.
So if you focus on that, that's where I think there's going to be a major change. But until you do that thing, and at first people might go like, oh, I don't know. When Shimmer started, or any women's promotion, I remember when I was booking in Pennsylvania, I was booking a promotion called Rogue Women Warrior, and it was the division of the Atomic Championship Wrestling. And at first we had to bring the women like kind of slowly, because they were not used to having the women presented as fighters, and they want to go for the belt. But slowly they became part of the show, where we started to mix guys and girls. And there was a women's match, a man's match, a women's match, a man's match. And it was the usual. And people were like used to it, and they would see the women wrestler just as a wrestler. And once everything is booked like that, I think you're going to get a lot more people interested in your product. And if it's all about competition and not a girl going, there's a lot of squashes on TV too. Like those 1 minute, 30 minute, 1 minute, 30-second matches, they have a purpose, but you're not going to showcase anything competitive that people can go into it. And women's, wrestling as a whole is about emotions.
Yeah.
You can create emotions within 1 minute, 30 seconds, but you can create a lot more of that roller coaster if you got a little bit more time.
Yeah.
So, very long answer for a short question.
No, it's one of them. It's like with I think one company that can do it, I know it sits under the WWE banner, but NXT seems to get that balance spot on. They've just hired, I don't know how many women, 15 women from the independent scene. And I think last week we had 3 women's matches. But again, the characters are there, but you care about the match, you care about the competitors, you care about, them winning the tag titles. The tag titles actually mean something on that show, whereas on the main show, it doesn't mean anything, really. It's a filler, and it's a shame.
Yeah, and you're talking about NXT. I was just watching Raquel Gonzalez versus Mercedes Martinez. It was all about who's the best.
Yep.
You wanted to see how are they, how is she going to beat a veteran like her? And the other girl is powerful, and it's all about presence and what they can deliver in the ring. So you're like into it, and it's. Yeah, it's the right way to do it, really. The belt means something, and yeah, exactly. So NXT is a very good example of doing things right, with a mixed
roster,
with a mix of everything they have. Yeah,
excellent.
Yeah. Like you say, those two ladies in particular are presented like men, and we, on the main roster, you get it in drips and drabs every now and then. I think you could say Bianca Belair, maybe Becky Lynch have been built to be equal with the men, but then at the same time, you get those women doing amazing things, and then you also get Mandy Rose trying to steal Naomi's husband away from her, and storylines like that,
Yeah, they will book 1 or 2 women like that the way I think it should be. I could be wrong, but I feel that's where we need to go. But it needs to be a division thing, not 1 or 2 key players. It needs to be everybody.
Yeah.
Your tag teams needs to be as present, as important. If you have new girls, they need to be presented as people with a lot of potential that can go somewhere, that will be a threat in the upcoming months or years.
Zoe Stark is a prime example of that.
Yeah,
it needs to be everywhere, like everywhere in the division, not one or two key players.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. Definitely. We mentioned, obviously, at the start, or yourself did, intergender wrestling seems to have had a slight recent boom again, even, vaguely featuring on WWE. As a pioneer of that genre, do you want to see it reaching a wider audience? Do you think it has a place on network TV? Because I know a lot of network TV don't like that type of thing. Or is it something that has to be done very, very carefully?
It has to be done carefully. I always compare with death matches because I've been involved in both. And although we're talking about two different things here, these are the type of matches where you can gain fans and lose some at the same time.
Yeah.
So where do you want to go with that? Is it cool to present women and men as equal? Absolutely. Is it something we're used to? In a way, yes, because if you watch the Marvel movies, that's exactly what's going on.
Yep. Yeah.
The wrestling, the thing with TV is, here's the question you have to ask yourself. If wrestling fan is watching it, he'll get used to it. He's already into wrestling. But if you want to get more people, lady of, I don't know, 30 years old is flipping the channel and she ends up on this match. Is she going to go, oh, that's interesting? Or she's going to go, oh, no. And then keep on flipping the channels and never come back.
Yeah.
That's the question you must ask yourself. And you'll get people really interested. It's like, oh, that's cool. That's like the superheroes or whatever. And then somebody's going to say, oh, no, that's domestic violence, which it is not. Domestic violence is not a choice. It's something that should not be happening. When it comes to intergender wrestling, the women in there are usually trained with the men. They want to be there. They want to push their limits. As an athlete, they want to be better, bigger, stronger, so it's two different things that unfortunately will get mixed up in, everyday people are flipping the channel. Yeah. Is it doable? Yes. There's some women are doing it right. And some women, I always say there's good and there's bad intergender, same as death matches. There's some women I've seen with the men and I was like, okay, no, that's too much. You need to go in there and lay them in, and it needs to be as realistic as it needs to be. I always give the, it works with smaller wrestler, bigger wrestler. Anybody who wrestled the Big Show, They will use their speed. They will use their knowledge. They will use, being smarter than him, like little things. It needs to be booked the same way.
Exactly.
It needs, everything is about how the story is told. If it's told, why? Oh, my cat says hi. It needs to be told the right way. If you're doing it the right way, it's going to look good. But if you just go in there and present a match like this without a storyline, I don't think they would be ready for it. But if you plan things carefully, one thing also that today drives me insane, they plan things so fast you can't even get into the storyline.
Yeah.
1-2 match, big blow up match with weapons and cages and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not there yet.
Yeah. Exactly right.
I think they just give away things too fast. You build up things slowly, you get people involved, and now they really want to see it. And once they really want to see it, what do? Pay-per-view, and you make them pay.
Yes, exactly right.
You don't give it for free on TV, but
exactly
it's a thing now. They're going for ratings instead of the long-term thing when you're going to get people and invest in and they want to see more and more and more. It's like they're giving everything right away, and they're like, oh, I'm not going to watch next week because there's nothing special, and you don't get into it. And that's not only the women's wrestling, it's male wrestling. It's like an overall thing for me.
I think Chris Jericho was the same. He said he didn't want any special matches in AEW, and they've had like 3 in 3 weeks
already. And I think in that particular In that particular, because I watch AEW, I watch everything as much as I can. I will
Got to
watch
study,
it.
haven't you?
There's so much wrestling right now, like sometimes I miss stuff. But it's like I was getting into, the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle, and then I think it's the second week they put his MJF's head in the toilet already. I'm like, well, they already had a payoff.
Yep.
The heel has been humiliated already. Why do
exactly what I said? Yeah, you don't need that backstage fight until it's weeks in.
That's what I thought too, and I was like, oh, and so now they already have the big blood and guts match. What's next? Because man, that thing, everybody was bloody and everything was violent. I mean, the end happened.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
It was one of them.
As much as everybody talks about the fall, I'm like, I'd rather see Chris Jericho safe and
it's the production. We said the same thing. It's the production.
It was
just
take
the shot.
Oh, we surrender, and I'm like, wah, wah, wah. I'm like, that's it. I was like, that's the way it ends. And then I'm like, because everyone talks about the fall, but I'm like, in my head, I'm still like a few seconds before, and I'm like, what? No, no. If you want to keep going, put the heel over like real bad, like strong. And if it should have been a blow off in my head at least. But if it's the babyface wins on top of the cage. Yes, Jericho on top, raising his hand and end of it. But it's like we surrender. I'm like, oh. Because I'm a wrestler, but I'm a wrestling fan. I love wrestling. I love watching it. I take pictures of my TV when I'm watching it, and I do, I put clips on Twitter and stuff. I love wrestling. And as a fan, I was like, no.
Yeah, please no. We were the same.
Please no.
We were the same.
I'm like, that's it. That's it. That's it. Oh, that's over. I'm like, oh. I was like, oh, yeah.
We always say this, don't we, Faz? That you're right. That should be the blow off, but and that's why that's why we've got a problem with pay-per-views like tonight. Backlash, Backlash should be the start of new feuds, whereas we're basically just seeing mostly rematches. Yeah,
same thing, but with one other person added in 3 ways. I just looked at the card before I joined you guys. I was like, oh, that's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, there's only 2 matches I'm really looking forward to, which is Reigns Cesaro and Bailey Belair. That's it.
Yeah. Well, that's new. 2 of them are like, oh yeah. I'm like, I that's the 2 that I first of all, I'm like so happy that Cesaro's up there. I hope they're gonna keep it there. He's been so popular for so long, and they were like, oh, doing nothing. And as a fan, again, you're like, you want to see him succeed. Like, he's so good.
He just needs to be in and around there, doesn't he? It might not be a case he's the full package, but he just needs to be pushed up now and again.
Presented like a bigger
section,
deal.
The Cesaro section. I'm like, I hope when people are in again, it's going to come back and even
I'm sure it will.
For him. Yeah,
I'm sure it will.
We've spoken. Do you know what? I it's just popped into my head. It's nice to hear a wrestler speak so passionately as a wrestling fan, because we've had like 25, 30 different wrestlers on, and it's all very. Like we try and get their thoughts on the current product, and a lot of them have said, "Oh, I don't really watch it. I don't really get time. I don't watch WWE or whatever." But it's nice to see
the passion.
You're just excited to talk about wrestling, which is nice.
Like for WWE, I will say I do not watch like Raw or SmackDown. I will watch everything that the news about it, and I'll read the results. But I cannot watch. Because Monday there's Raw and there's Ring of Honor, and I'm gonna pick Ring of Honor, and then on Tuesday there's Dark, and then there's gonna be Dynamite, and there's the women division of Ring of Honor, and then I also like to watch New Japan, and like there's Impact in there where I try to watch. So most of the time I'll try to watch, especially when it comes to Impact and WWE. I watch the pay-per-views. I don't necessarily watch the shows because like it's too much. Even yesterday I know Impact was on, and I'm like, I need something else on wrestling, so I just watched UFC, and I'm glad I did it. It was so good. Like third match, the guy breaks his arm. Like, oh god. But once in a while I just need to no wrestling today. But I'm gonna watch all the pay-per-views. I try to watch Dynamite, and I watch everything Ring of Honor. I've loved Ring of Honor with the Pure tournament. That's since then I'm like hooked. I'm like, they did so well with the terrible situation of a pandemic. They renewed the product. They went back to the basics, and you see just like great wrestling. It's and
it's why 90% of our guest list have been Ring of Honor talents. We just love it.
We love it. We love Ring of Honor.
They're so interesting too, because they have that. The women's division is too young for me to, give a critic like an opinion.
You've been in it for 25 years. I think you can be a critic of the women's wrestling.
But if I take the men's side, I was talking about different cultures, colors, ages.
They've got it all,
different
haven't
they? Experience. They have all that. They have all that right now. They have characters. They have people who are serious, characters. Like I said, there was Dalton Castle. They do have PCO. They have Danhausen. But once the bell ring, it's like it's a fight. It's it's the emotions. And one of the I think it was its final battle. They had a match. It was Flip Gordon and Mark Briscoe. And the way Mark Briscoe was looking at the camera when he was in pain, I was like, I heard for him. Yeah. And same thing happened. There was Jay Lethal versus Roosh. And my boyfriend was like, I hate Roosh. I hate him. And it was like, why? He's like, oh, I can't stand him. And I was like, but he's so good. And it's like, and after the match, he kind of was like, I'm like, why do you hate him? He's like, I'm like, yeah, because he's doing his job as a heel so good that even you, a wrestler, hate the guy. He's like, oh,
job done.
I'm so into it because he's the way he, he's gonna do like a move and he's gonna lay and like he's sunbathing and posing and then the little details that makes him such a great heel. And when he comes out, he has that white bull head and the big coat. Like he looks like a champion.
Yeah,
he looks bigger than everything. Like, so we buy everything he does.
There's so many talents at the moment, isn't it, who are struggling with that side of it. I think because we were talking about it last. It's one of the things with AEW that kind of doesn't sit with me sometimes, is that they put a lot of focus on the flips, the in-ring segments, but the outside segments lose a lot for me because I'm not learning about them. I'm not learning about their stories and their characters. It's just so very quick. It's, right, we need a segment to set that match up. We need a segment to set that match up. It's no. Build the character. Have your heel get built up. Have your face get built up.
And it's something you see, like I see it on TV, but I see also in the indies. You're going to have a match. There's going to be a promo at the beginning of the match. It's going to be cut off. There's going to be a match. And then there's something else after too that built something.
Yep.
Why is this every single match, or like every match, there's a promo that's being cut by someone else coming in, or there's an afterburn where somebody comes out and attacks. It's just the same thing. There's no flow or way to set up. There's so many ways to set up a match.
Yeah.
It can just start within a match where it's just a simple competition. One of the people, one of the players gets really pissed, cheats, then he gets, beat. And then I want more of this guy because, he didn't respect me. Easy.
Yeah.
It's easy. But I think people sometimes are trying to do it too complicated.
Yep.
Build it as two people who want to compete and want to be the best, and possibilities are endless. Definitely. Just from that.
Yeah, definitely.
Cesaro versus Sheamus springs to mind with that. And look what that did. That ended up creating magic with their tag team of the Bar. You mentioned a few minutes ago about briefly about deathmatch wrestling and hardcore wrestling. So I was just wondering, with you being obviously the first lady of hardcore, what did you make of Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa in their lights out match? Did you enjoy that match? Was it sort of like realistic to you and what you've done?
One thing that I and it goes back to what I was saying. I think it was brought too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
Oh,
can
100%.
how can two people hate each other so much to beat themselves with things, with weapons, because they had one match and then there was some back and forth on the internet that regular person who's only watching the show did not see. And it was like, I think because they have good chemistry and they should have milked this so much more. And one match where Thunder Rosa is bleeding and she's left and you're not going to make me bleed again, and then she gets kind of a retribution in the match when actually it happens to Britt Baker too. I think everything was too fast, and that comes from someone who did the hardcore matches with no storyline. As you grow older, you grow wiser, and giving too much too soon, too quick, it removes some of the mystique of what could have been.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt where, and everybody went nuts. My God, this is so new. We've never seen that. And I'm like, go back to your history. It's been done before, but that's not even the point here where like there was only blood and people went nuts because it's not something you see usually. And that was so cool. But one thing that really, that's what pissed me off about this, not even the match, the way people were commenting about it and stuff. People were praising it. And I remember seeing the same people calling us garbage.
Yeah.
Months, years ago. And I'm like, oh, because now it's cool because it's, on TV and it's people, and stuff, like you're jumping on the bandwagon. And I'm like, it's either you're an hypocrite or I really hope so that you did change your mind and that you strongly believe that these two girls, because once you go out there, one bad bump and it can destroy your career. Ladders are known to mess up your back real bad. And I'm like, when it comes to thumbtacks and stuff, the problem is it's overdone right now. You see it every day, not every day, but almost every Wednesday.
As soon as you see a bag, it's like, we know what's in there.
It's like, I would have waited, and I think it was like really close after, was it the exploding match that happened like just a few weeks ago?
Yeah, it
was.
was.
A week before. I mean,
I think the problem with them, though,
AEW... The talent is great. The structure to bring it was not so good.
Yeah, because I think what we've said, especially with AEW, is what they struggle with is because they don't have the regular pay-per-views. Like WWE have too many, and AEW have...
they have too many.
AEW have too little. They only have like 3 or 4 throughout the year. So they throw these random big events on a Dynamite show. And as you said, where's the payoff? That's where you have your weeks and your weeks and your weeks and your weeks of build-up. We should have been dead excited for that match. I saw it as an afterthought. Like, it was the day after I went, oh, that match was on. I didn't even, you know what I mean? And that's where it is. I think it's got to be perceived differently. Like, it should make me want to tune in to watch said match. And I think that's what a lot of these main promotions are struggling with at the moment.
Yeah, so it's a good thing where I think it woke up a lot of people to what women could do. But if it would have been built bigger, better on a long-term kind of thing, I think you would have, it would have piqued the interest of people who were not into it. If you're not watching AEW, but you still read the news and you go on Twitter and you're, oh, this happened? Oh my God, this happened with Britt and Thunder Rosa. And then you're just like, oh, I want to tune in now.
Yeah.
And I feel it's just, then a lot of people went back and watched the match after it was done. But that didn't get your ratings up. They just looked at it after because, oh, they said it was good. But if they had built the thing very slowly and slowly, people would, oh, I'm going to watch because I want to know what happens next. And then you build. And then there's more people tuning in. Then you get big ratings at bigger. And but then again, that's my point of view. That's how I would have built it. I would have really put more focus on the women to bring them to that point. And create, more animosity between them. So you really want to see, oh my God, what is she going to do to her? Because she did that before. And Thunder Rosa wants her revenge. And I feel, unfortunately, they I understand Thunder Rosa is not like she's a regular, but I think she's more of an NWA girl. I don't know.
Yeah, she still is. Yeah,
the contracts here. So that's just me thinking. The thing is, they put so much emphasis on Brit. It looked cool. The T-shirts and everything is awesome, but she lost the match.
Yeah, and now she's got a title match.
And she's getting a title match, and then it's like everything is backward. I'm like, it's cool. She's your girl. You should promote her. You should, and she's good at what she does. Her promos are on point, and you really hate her. And I really like the DMD thing. I actually went to the dentist and I saw DMD, and in my head I went, it works. It works. But I was like, Thunder Rosa won, and you didn't capitalize on it. It was like, oh, okay, she won, yay. And it was kind of the end of the feud, but now let's push the heel instead of, if the way I would probably done it is have Britt being very frustrated, and she loses a little bit more matches, and then she snaps.
Yep.
And then, undestructible, because she's going to do anything necessary to get to that championship, and then big payoff, you give her the championship.
Yep.
Because now she's over right now, so hopefully they will give it to her, but I think it could have been so much more.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Much more. Like they had everything in there, but it's like everything was pushed too quick, too fast, and I don't know. Spend more time on building the talent, the character, the everything for your women's division. Yes, I feel the women's division in general, most of the time, are an afterthought.
Yeah.
They don't focus as much on little details. And yeah, it's good, but it could have been
could be much better.
More. Yeah.
So much more. Right, we'll take it back. So Shimmer and Shine, the promotions that you're most familiar with, or people know you from. Both promotions have gone from strength to strength over the years, and have seen some massive names come through, and then have gone on to your live TV shows, your WWEs, your AWs. How important is it for women wrestlers to have their own safe space, especially with the Me Too movement, etc., that came out, and their own promotions? Is there anything that you lose from not training with men?
No, not necessarily. I wouldn't say it's a thing of training. It's a safe place where you go there, and women are the stars. You will get those longer matches where you will learn how to slow down the pace and then pick it up, and because everything on TV, like I said, is quicker.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get to those promotions, the Shimmer, the Shines, you do get those 10 minutes and up matches. You do get to work with people who are better than you, who will teach you, that ring general who's going to take you and teach you on the spot. I think there's no better way to learn than to be in the ring with someone that has that experience that they can share in front of the public, and you're more aware of everything, because you can, I always say, you feel the way your opponent feels. You feel, you see how they breathe, you see how they move, how they save their energy, because you're right there. Yeah. It's something that you get with those promotions, because you do have the time. There's shorter matches, but in general, it's around the 8-10 minute marks, and you'll even get the 20-25 and even more. And that's where you learn so much. And that's why these promotions are key to make you a better wrestler overall.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I know in the UK, we had Mariah May on, and she was saying, she was part of that specific movement. And she said, it was a struggle for her, especially in the UK, to find promotions like that. Like a lot of people she wrestled with, just men. Just constantly men, until she found that little small group where she was like, oh my God, there's women here. So I think, as you said, it's right for those women to have that safe space, not only to feel safe, but to learn, to develop, to strengthen their skills, to strengthen their products. So then when they get the call up to the big leagues, it is a case of, I'm ready.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do feel the same. And that's why they're so important.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Oh, he's frozen.
Something I'm really keen to ask you. last year on the PWI Women's 100, you came in at number 35. Obviously, it was a tough year. Nobody really got to wrestle much. 35 is still a hell of an accomplishment, even though you should have been higher. But a quick look at that list. Everybody above you was already really quite established, really well-known names, already in the big promotions, or certainly on the cusp of it. So this is sort of like a two-part question. Who do you think is the next big star in women's wrestling, waiting to break out and become possibly the face of women's wrestling? And also, are there any sort of like younger, more undiscovered, unknown names that we should look out for maybe in the next couple of years who you think are destined for big things?
It is a tough question because I haven't seen, like, I've watched a lot of wrestling, but usually, like, when I go to shows, I look at the matches, and I haven't seen a lot of independent matches, and that's where it's missing, because usually that's where I find the hidden jewels. Once you're on TV, you already have that platform. So, but people to me that stand out are people like Abaddon, which I think every match she gets better, and the fact that she stays in her character nonstop. To me, it's very important because there's been characters like that, but to that extent where it's pushed, where she's absolutely not trying to be pretty or funny or anything like that. Like, she is funny in a way. Like, I don't know if you saw the cookies with Allie, with the bunny. Like, it was hilarious, but she was still herself. So she stands out to that. I like Kylan King. I think she's really solid. I think there's something, I wouldn't say missing, maybe a bigger character, I don't know, but definitely her wrestling style solid. She always have one of the best matches when I watch Dark. Whoever she's put against, she's gonna do great. You know, she's gonna make the other person look great. Besides that, well, I love Layla Hirsch, of course. I've been wrestling her twice, and we had a killer match in Germany. I like Max the Impaler. She's different. She's bigger. She's a killer. We need women like that, you know, like the Jessica Havocks, like powerful, strong, mean, very, like, her character also is on point, her gear, her makeup, and everything. One that I think she's established, but I would like to see her on the bigger, platform. Definitely Nicole Savoy. She's been a Shimmer champion, but this is one of those cases where she's not signed, and it blows my mind. I have no idea why. She's a lovely girl backstage. She's great to hang out with. I always have like awesome matches with her. Easy to work with. Looks good. Submission artist. Like, I cannot say anything wrong or about Nicole Savoy. I love Nicole, and I mean, these are the names that comes to mind right now. I know I'm forgetting a lot of people.
Some great names mentioned. Yeah, it'll be good to see what happens over the next 2 years, as you said, especially with things opening up and people getting to travel a lot more.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get to see more of it.
I get to be on shows with people.
Yeah, we'll have you back on. We'll have you back on in a year, and you can go, actually, screw all them. I've got another 5 here now. Even better.
There's people I've never wrestled who I've been tagged lately in a few things, like Ian wants to wrestle me, and I'm like, yes, I want to wrestle Ian too. And there's so many people, or Vert Vixen says she would like to wrestle me, and it's all like, I see all those possibilities of of the younger generation that they want to step in the ring with me. And to me, that's such a compliment, because I love wrestling with the younger girls, and I hope that I can help them learn the process. And I do learn in the process too. It makes me better as a teacher, as a person. And, I want them to have a great experience backstage, in the ring. Yeah, definitely there's possibilities are endless, and I want to wrestle them all.
Amazing. So obviously we mentioned it before here on the podcast. We're huge advocates for Ring of Honor. I said 90% of our interviews have been with Ring of Honor talent. Is there any truth to the possible whispers around that you might be joining Ring of Honor soon? Because just a few days ago, Maria Kanellis said how much she would love to see you there, maybe even in this summer's long-awaited tournament, maybe?
Well, I don't know. What she said about the border thing is real.
Yeah.
When it comes, I'm a Canadian, and international talents, we need visas.
Yeah.
It's a long process. Am I looking into my visa right now? The answer is yes.
Interesting.
How long is it going to take? Is it I didn't sign a contract with anybody. But I mean, just the fact that Mrs. Kanellis sees me as an asset to Ring of Honor, and everybody knows I'm a big fan, especially of the new product.
Yeah.
And I hear how she and Mike Bennett are great people to be around, and I keep reading that the locker room is changing, and everything's getting better there. And I have a lot of people that I know there, like Chris Dickinson and Tony Deppen, and these are all people that I love. Jonathan Gresham. It's definitely the place that I would like to be, because I could be, I think, an asset both
Massively.
as an in-ring performer and also right-hand woman to help on anything else.
Definitely.
I am a graphic designer. I design gear. I can be an agent. I can be anything. When I'm not wrestling, I love helping the other people get their matches together. I just love that. I've worked as a gorilla position before, and that was fun. I scream a lot. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm really a perfectionist. So before going time, I was like, time. I'm like, so I don't know if that's the place for me. But I mean, things ran smoothly because I was like, that's the way it works. But yeah, just a thing. And I'm really honored that she believes that I'm the best, kept secret in women's wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like, that meant a lot. So hopefully this can be a thing. And
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, see what happens. And I'll take all the love and the great vibes that everybody can send me.
Yeah, we'll tag them in all of our stuff. Do not worry about
that. But yeah, like hopefully it can become a thing. I'm a fan, Ring of Honor. I would love to be there. And like you said, like I'm a fan of wrestling, and everybody that wants to wrestle me, to me, I'm honored that you want to be in the ring with me. If you believe that I can bring to your promotion, I'm even more honored, and I want to do good in wrestling, whether it is as a backstage or like it's been more than half my life.
Yeah. So
I to stay in that crazy business that long, you must love it or be a little nuts. It's a little bit of both. But yeah, like, so let's hope.
Yeah, let's hope.
Yeah, we'd love to see it. We genuinely would love to see you there, or anywhere, to be honest. We want, like you said, the best kept secret. We know more than enough about LuFisto. You're not a secret to us, but we just want more people to get eyes on you and to understand how good you are and what you can bring. And I think that my next question bleeds into that quite nicely, because you have got so much to bring to anywhere, to any promotion, and to help any women, especially the younger generation, the younger talent of aspiring wrestlers. What advice would you give to any young girl, any young woman, teenager, whoever it might be, who wants to become a wrestler? And also, this is a two-parter. What advice would you give to yourself if you could go back and speak to 18-year-old or 16-year-old LuFisto? What advice would you give? Things that you know now to help you out, maybe.
Yeah. The advice that I give everyone is to know where you're going, know where you came from. Learn your history about women wrestling, who did what, because why it is so easy today. And yes, it is easy today compared to years ago.
Yeah, definitely.
It's because some women really clawed their way, and they fought, and they cried, and they bled, and they were treated, I would say, unfairly. I got so much heat and I was called difficult because I wanted to be a wrestler and I wanted to fight the guys. And today these kinds of things are, applauded by people and they're like praise and stuff. But back then, my God, like, we were terrible people.
Yeah.
But we just
shocking, isn't it?
wrestlers. Yeah. And so to know where you're going, know where you came from, that's one of them. Listen to your teachers. There's great schools out there now. That's one thing that I feel was missing back then. There's a lot of wrestling moms and people you can go to for advice. Like I always give credit to Saria Knight because to me, she was the one that I would go to if I had a question. And I feel she came in my life so late. Yeah. And I would have needed someone like her when I started. But now these people they're there, they're everywhere. You got, Jazz is still going around in the locker rooms. My God, go pick her brains.
We're planning to. We're getting her on here.
Yeah. Oh my God. One of the nicest person I've ever met is Jazz. Lovely, lovely human being. Someone like her, pick her brain. If you see Gail Kim, I'm sure she has tons of interesting stories and, go around. There, these people are out there. And even if it's not people who've been on TV, the Madison Eagles, the cheerleader Melissa's, the Allison Kay, like go ask them. Or if you don't want to bother them when they wrestle, take the time, study them. There's tons of tapes. I was saying tapes, but VHS. Yeah, I'm from that generation. VHS, my Lord. I have one of my friends actually transferring my old VHS so I can have my matches before they're not good anymore. Oh God, old. Okay.
We're gonna have teenagers watching this like, what's a VHS?
I know, yeah.
What's a CD?
That's a videotape for all you guys out there.
So yeah, that's pretty much what I would tell the new generation. And to myself, I would say everything you did, you had a good reason to do it, but open your ears more and listen. There's people out there who can help you. There's not many, but the one who did, I got so scared of people talking bad about me because of past experience that sometimes I wouldn't go to someone and ask for advice because I was afraid they would call me stupid or, I got to the point where like, they say to make it in wrestling, you need to mingle.
Yeah.
And I was so scared of being betrayed. And so it's definitely something that is missing. So I would say once you get someone that can teach you something, shut up and listen and ask questions too. One of them, and it's okay to say no.
Yeah.
I was, again, so scared that people would call me, oh, you're just a girl, she's scared. So I would take any shots, any moves. I would wrestle anybody that, even if they didn't feel safe to me, I would say yes. Because I was like,
prove a point.
No, you're not. Yeah, you're not going to tell me I can't do this because I'm a woman. And I took some shots, especially in death matches. I was like, man, it's okay to say no. And if you feel someone is unsafe, it might bring you trouble if you say no because you might not get booked there anymore, but there's other places. Now there's tons of promotions. Make sure you're safe in whatever you do. And actually, it's funny that you asked me this question. I just tweeted this morning. Whatever you do right now in the ring, it's going to come back and haunt you in a few years later.
Yeah.
You might take that crazy bump. Oh my God, I look so cool. I wrestled this guy and we did this crazy thing. And 10 years from now, you're going to go outside and bend down just to work on your flowers. And then your knees are going to be, I can't stand up.
Yeah.
Because of that decision you made years ago.
Yeah.
Be very self-aware of what you do today will impact your day-to-day life, not wrestling, day-to-day life in the future.
Yeah, we see that, don't we, with so many of the generation from the 80s. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's so hard to say. Like Dark Side of the Ring was the same. Beyond the Mat, which showed you that they were literally like they couldn't even get up to answer the door in some of these things. So you've got to take care of your body, and I think especially now the amount of information we know. You know, the nutrition, looking after yourself, the right exercises to do yoga.
The headshots. Yeah, the concussions.
Yeah, concussion.
These are serious things we didn't know back then.
Yeah.
I've wrestled with a concussion, like, my God. I didn't have many concussions, which is great. But there was one that I had that was really bad. And I wrestled the next day. Like, this is something I wouldn't do today. And definitely, like, don't do it.
Yeah.
But back then, we didn't know. We just didn't know. Now we know, though. Be smart about it. Oh, you're going to miss that match, or you're not going to wrestle with that promotion. First of all, if that promotion tells you, well, if you're not coming, you're not booked, then don't go wrestle there. They're not worth it. Be smart. Be smart. Yeah. Take care of your body. Take care of your brain.
Yeah.
And you only have one.
Yeah.
And not only with the CTE, you do get the aches and pains and whatever, but with CTE called mental illness, suicide thoughts, everything is dark, you get angry real fast. Like, my God, Chris Benoit. There's a lot of people, like, everybody talks about how disgusting what he did, was and everything. But I don't know if it's there was an actual show, and I don't know if it aired anywhere else, but in Canada, because he was from here, they did a whole 6-part show where his father was talking, and Chris Nowinski, who was a specialist when it comes to CTE.
It is over there.
They said that Chris Benoit's brain was like a 75-year-old man with heavy dementia. That's how bad. He didn't know what the hell. He probably didn't know where the hell he was.
Yeah.
Like, it was that bad. So it's serious. Take care of yourselves.
Yeah, 100%. Orange Cassidy just suffered one, didn't he? This week on Dynamite.
Recently, it's always happening.
Yeah, they just need to take care.
Scary.
It really is. Right, you've been fantastic. We're gonna bring it up to one last question. There's been talk of WWE potentially starting up an all-women's brand recently. The legendary Mick Foley mentioning you as someone who we would like to see take the reins. If it happens, would you be interested in it? And do you think it will happen? Is it a good idea? And what do you make of Mick's comments? As you said, another legend mentioning yourself.
A real one.
Yeah.
I believe the word legend is thrown out there like
way too often.
When somebody tells this about me, I'm like, man, I don't know. Like, legend is such a big word, but Mick is one. Mick is one.
Yep.
And he's such a great, he's a great man. He's such a good, nice human being. So, that he believes that I should be one of the people in charge. I mean, means the world. He's an idol to me. He's a model. And again, like I said, mostly like a good human being. So that he thinks so highly of me, it means the world. And would I be interested? I don't know with WWE. I know there's people there who don't like me. So
there you go. Says it all then.
I want to laugh about it instead of cry, because it's definitely people that I didn't do anything to. So I was like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pettiness.
So I was like, yeah, because trust me, I've been trying to figure out what I did wrong. I was like, I can't find anything. Like, I almost got myself sick. I did get myself sick. I was like, anyway, I'm not going to spend too much time on it.
It's good. But, not on them. They're not worth it.
I don't even know if they would. Because when we're talking about a brand, here's the way I see it. There's divisions, but when you're talking about the brand, it means you have your own show with only women, and it's like SmackDown, but women. You know, it's different. It's not a division. It's a whole show, a brand that's like you have the NXT brand, you got the WWE brand, and you would have women something.
Yeah.
Different.
Yeah.
Are they gonna go there? Do they believe they can make that much money? They might do it just to say we're the first that did it.
Could be a great show for Peacock, though.
I'm always talking as a full brand on television because I saw people when he mentioned it, they were like, yeah, but the Knockouts had shows and the Shimmer. Yeah, Shimmer definitely. If you want to give credit to the first one, Shimmer full brand,
100%.
women only, but they were not something on regular TV, mainstream TV, cable. That's where the difference is.
Yep.
Will they put a full women's brand on cable TV? Not just the show, not just the pay-per-view, a full brand with a weekly TV show. And that's where I'm like, I don't know if they would go there. Will they make money? There's money to be made, but it needs to be booked the right way. How is it going to be booked? Who's going to be in charge? Very important that women wrestlers
are in charge.
Yeah. I'm talking the Mickey James, the Medusas, the Jazz, people who've been there in it, travel the world, know the struggles as a woman wrestler. Would they put those people in charge?
I don't think so.
I don't know. So I was like,
I mean, even now they've got TJ, haven't they? TJ running the show over there.
Jason Jordan as well.
Yeah, and Jason Jordan. It's still not a woman who's running the show.
So, you know,
the only thing I would say though is with Peacock, you know, they've got how many documentaries and stuff they've got going on a weekly basis. I think if anyone would push for that, it would be them.
Yeah, but the other issue that I think you've got is we already say that there's too many championship belts in WWE, don't we? And I think if you're giving the women their own brand, their own weekly show, you can't just have one women's championship or the two main ones are SmackDown and the Raw. You'd probably need something like a women's Intercontinental, a women's United States champion. That's a lot of content to be trying to fit into maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, and we already see the struggle on Raw.
And if you want people to tune in, do you keep those, you know, those women championship on your other shows?
Yeah.
Or you want to make sure that whoever loves Sasha Banks is going to go and watch the women's show to see Sasha Banks? Because if she's everywhere else, why would you watch this one?
Yeah.
So there's so many questions that they have to ask themselves. And if they do it, they have to do it for the right reasons. If they do it for the wrong reason to say, oh, we did it first, and it's not going to be pretty.
No,
it needs to be structured. Great talent is a thing, but if great talent is not structured, it's a clusterfuck and it's not good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think, as you said, the best thing to take from that is that the legendary Mick Foley thinks so highly of you.
Yeah,
that's what we'll take. 100%. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on the show today. We really do appreciate it. Is there anything you want to?
I've got one more question. One quick question. Favorite Metallica song?
Ooh,
it's been bugging me. I wanted to ask it since you said Metallica. Enter Sandman for me.
Yeah, no, I go. I love Disposable Heroes. Oh, Shortest Straw. Shortest Straw, definitely. Oh yeah.
Cool. That was just for me.
Yeah,
you know why I know it's this one? I love this song so much, and I was playing it on guitar, and they never played it at a show, right? But they come to Montreal for the Dead Magnetic show, and I'm with my friend Tolo, and he's a big Metallica fan. He plays bass, I play guitar. We're like, okay, good, Metallica, you know. And then James goes like, well, we haven't played this song for 10 years, and well, we're gonna play it now. And then they start the Shortest Straw. I kid you not, I jumped on the seat. And my friend was like laughing at me. I lost my mind. So definitely that's what I love this.
That's the winner. That's the winner. Excellent. So again, yes, thank you so much for coming on. Before you go, is there anything you'd like to plug, shop, social media, that type of thing?
Well, if you want to follow me online, just go to LuFisto.com. I have my own website and all the links are there. I do have a Patreon where you can get exclusive matches, pictures, stories, little things like that. Nothing really fancy, but it's fun. And I also tell the stories of the matches, how they happen, stuff like that. So that's always a little plus.
Very cool.
I do have my Instagram is Wounded Al LuFisto on Twitter. And if I know it's a lot to remember, so just go on LuFisto.com and click on the links. It's easy. You'll see all the championships and everything else that you need to know about me, my biography. I got T-shirts, DVDs, 2-for-1 on DVDs and pictures.
Plug as much as you can.
I get to see you guys very soon from a ring point of view.
Yes,
absolutely.
Excellent. And you can follow me on Twitter. It's @Faz's Thoughts. That's FAZZAS Thoughts. And Deej, do you want to push us and yourself to the moon?
Yeah, I'm at PWCDs. And to keep it nice and simple, as LuFisto did, head to our linktree / It's Our House Pod. Everything's on there.
Yeah.
Everywhere that you can find us on podcast platforms, YouTube, shops, blah, blah, blah. It's all on there.
Yeah, excellent. And thank you so much again, LuFisto. It's been an absolute blast. And take it easy, folks. We shall see you all in the next one. Take it easy, guys.